Hi, you. It's me, Nicole Phoenix Star, and this is the Nick Star podcast. Today, I am going to talk about the biggest symptom that women over 40, and sometimes before, experience. And it was really interesting. I saw a reel the other day from this doctor in Arizona who did this big talk on this very thing. And it's something that I have experienced and have worked with other women on. So first of all, you might want to know how I know all this stuff. Besides my lived experience, and that is I spent 3 years pretty much full time studying women's health, hormones, metabolic health. I read many medical textbooks. I worked with different trainers, and I have really burrowed into the perimenopause and menopause field. I have several mentors that are experts in the field, and I have really become somewhat obsessed with the whole thing because my experience was really hardcore, much to my surprise. But being a mostly vegan and vegetarian, I now understand why. And that is because of the very low amount of protein that I was eating, which isn't so much a problem until it is when your estrogen levels start going, well, they hop on the roller coaster ride. And that's when you go through phases of a lot of symptoms, and then they seem to kind of calm down or even at times disappear. And eventually they stay for good as you are approaching that menopause window. So, yeah, it's been quite the journey over the last few years, and something that I have really applied myself to and feel highly educated in, as well as being able to implement both personally and with others. So ultimately, the greatest symptom that women, mostly around 40 plus, experience, and quite often it continues most of their life if they haven't addressed it or been able to accidentally deal with it or have gotten help, and that is pain. And whether that is joint pain, pain from inflammation, plantar fasciitis, oh, that came out funny, frozen shoulder, hip pain, back pain, headaches, migraines, jaw pain, ringing in the ears, so many things. But ultimately, it's all a version of pain. And there's so much more. This doctor in Arizona said that he had a patient come to him who was 60, and she had spent $100,000 on testing over 10 years, had every test in the book, every MRI, had spent time with different physiotherapists, osteopaths, so many different medications, injections, all of these. And ultimately, it was all derived from estrogen issues. because it never comes back. Like, once we start the journey towards perimenopause established and menopause, estrogen never, ever, ever comes back to those pre-levels. You know, we get the estrogen that, we experience in our 20s and 30s, which are our primary baby making days and menstruation days. And it's really progesterone's best friend, and the progesterone creates a buffer that allows us to regulate stress and, life. And when estrogen isn't there, the progesterone isn't able to work. And it starts going chaotic as well. So estrogen is such a big thing. And, he was able to completely eradicate all her symptoms by giving her progesterone creams and ultimately a patch. And that is an option, but it's not necessary if you are really focused and targeting estrogen connectors and bridges. So the simple solution is protein. And that's why women over 40 really need to have adequate protein to be able to fill the gaps where the estrogen is no longer available. And when you are feeling that physical pain, which is a really obvious symptom. I mean, there's also, emotional pain and psychological pain that comes from feeling not like yourself, feeling weird anxiety, feeling unexplained depression, and that is because the estrogen isn't supporting the progesterone, and the progesterone levels being chaotic as well. So getting enough protein is a massive, massive, massive piece. Like, it actually is such a huge piece. And, whether you're vegetarian or not, there are so many ways these days to be able to get protein. So it's not, a direct call to any vegan or vegetarian that they need to start eating, animal products. It isn't necessary at all. Although for me, I did start introducing some animal products and found that was quite an interesting psychological journey, being a vegetarian for so many years. But for me, like, I've been a vegetarian on and off most of my life, and it was never about animals per se. It was always purely taste and physical feedback. Like, my body was like, I don't want to eat this. It tastes weird. It's not happy in my body. But when I did start trial and error on a few different animal products, my body just exhaled. It relaxed. And very quickly, I felt much better. And I didn't realize at the time in those early days, not that long ago, that my aches and pains were shifting, and that was because my hormones were balancing. And it's not about, trying ways to... People get a bit confused about the hormone balancing terminology. They think, if my hormones are balanced, then I've got optimum estrogen and progesterone and testosterone, like levels I had when I was in my 20s and 30s, and that isn't the case. They're balanced in a way that there's no chaos in your body, or little chaos in your body, because there's always something when you're in this season. I had cervical spinal issues. I had heart palpitation, insanity. I had all of these different things, and it's all from hormones. And it takes so long for your head to wrap around that. You're looking for a label, you're looking for a reason, you're looking for a diagnosis, and expect it, because it's just from conditioning. It's because we aren't educated on menopause and perimenopause. And up until I think this era, no one ever has been really educated on the science of things and how, molecular structure works, and how the body processes this, and how, the cycles of the body in women affect your lived experience. So it's really so profound, and the information is extraordinary, but it's also very simple. Like, you don't need to learn the ins and outs of it. You don't need to read medical books. I'm just a bit of a freak. So, and, there are medical intervention routes, and that is, patches and creams and things like that, which are very, I was going to say easy, but they also come with, potential side effects that are different for every woman. And for me, the greatest medicine I've ever been able to use is food. Food as medicine is extraordinary. And the more nutrients and micronutrients you can get into the body, the greater it performs. And finding that sweet spot for yourself, as well as recognizing the ebbs and flows in the chaos of perimenopause, where, the estrogen isn't consistent or stable or a pattern or anything. So a simple way is making sure you do get enough protein, and if you are getting symptoms, to be able to just increase that for a while. And, the cleaner the protein, the better. Protein bars and protein powders are helpful, but it's not what you should be using as your primary source. And whether you're vegetarian, vegan, or happy to have some or a lot of animal products, that's completely up to you. And just having a clean source is going to yield greater results. The other thing is lifting is strength, like getting your body to move, and it's almost impossible. Like, I remember when I was in so much physical pain that the thought of moving was impossible, and that for that season I rested a lot until I felt the need to move. And once I started moving, I increased strength, and I literally don't have any aches and pains at all. And it's very, very, very rare when I get a headache. I had horrific frozen shoulder. Horrific. My knees were just all over the shop from previous injuries. I had neck and back pain that would debilitate me beyond words. And I actually had a hugely degenerative cervical spinal issue that was outrageous. And I'm actually going to go and get an MRI soon on the same area, just for my own research and my own interest, because I have had zero pain in that area for over 6 months. And when it was first diagnosed, my doctor said to me, "Oh my God, this is really extensive and you're way too young for this." And I know now it was all hormonal, because it had been going on and off and on and off and on and off and on for years, 4 or 5 years. And once I addressed the hormones, not the spot issues, all my aches and pains went away. And the pain of confusion, mental confusion of what is going on with me, and the weird, weird crawling under the skin that feels like anxiety when your mind's like, nothing going on here. Why is my body screaming at me at the heights of anxiety feedback? So it's not about addressing each individual symptom. If you can just step back and look at the big picture and really realize that pain is the greatest symptom. And if you're addressing your hormones and ultimately looking at how to create building blocks and bridges for the estrogen chaos or the permanent loss of estrogen, and start playing with protein intake, which is easy to work out if you have a macros counter, and there's so many free ones you can get as an app. I still, even though I've been in my maintenance season for so long, I still log all my food every day to make sure I'm getting enough nutrients, enough carbohydrates, enough fat, enough protein, obviously. But I just eat, like, I eat so much food. It's hilarious how much I eat. And when I started putting on weight and ballooning and inflammation flares and just not understanding and eating so healthy, it was the craziest time how intense it got, and learning about what to eat, when to eat, and realizing that eating healthy in your mind the way you used to in your 20s or 30s is not actually a fit for a perimenopausal or menopausal body. It's such a mind fuck. Like, it's so confusing. And, I just changed my diet and it felt like I was eating more. I was just eating differently. And I was still eating beautiful, yummy food. There was a lot less hidden calories, absolutely. And I did count calories because I needed to remain in a window to give me guidance. And, the weight literally fell off me, which just, again, blew my mind even more than when I put it on. So, yeah, it's just a matter of starting. That's it. And realizing that just because you're eating healthy doesn't mean you're eating optimal for your hormone health and this season of your life. Counting calories was such a intimate journey for me because I knew exactly what was going in my body and what each calorie was being used for, what nutrition it would bring me, how it worked with the fat, how it worked with the carb, how it worked with, the protein, and how that led to my body thriving, being 51 and in the greatest shape of my life and the highest level of health that I've ever experienced is the most unimaginable outcome I could have ever perceived was possible. Like it never was even on the table. I just thought when you get old in your 50s, that's your lot. That's just what happens, because that is what women have accepted, and it's not the truth. The truth is educating yourself really brings a level of responsibility, and each day, that no doctor can have that level of awareness. And, doctors have something like 3 hours worth of education in their in their journey of, learning medicine. And it's not their fault. And unless, their wife or their mother or someone that they know, or they've taken the time to understand more, it's just that they simply don't have the information, and try to address it from, each symptom, and not really recognize that hormones are the contributing factors. And I was talking to someone the other day, a colleague, and they said, "Ma, look, I had this person come to me the other day, and they were crazy symptoms, and not the other day, a few months ago. And I just got them to track protein and made sure they were getting 120 to 150 grams per day. And within 6 weeks, all their symptoms went. We just did that one thing." So I know, it's so simple. And you can go as far as you want or as little as you want. And I'm actually going to do, starting 2025, some one-on-one work with this. I've got 9 spots because it's a 9-year, and there's this whole 9 theme about it. It'll go 36 days. 3 plus 6 is 9. Daily support, daily interaction, for anyone who wants to educate themselves and get themselves on a health journey. And, it's for anyone in perimenopause or menopause. But I won't be launching that sometime in the next 2 weeks, offering those spots up. So that wasn't the point of this, but that's just what came out. Wasn't planning on talking about that yet, because I hadn't. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk today and let anyone know that feels lost or helpless or lonely or a little bit crazy or in pain, that you're not alone. Reach out if you want to. Just start tracking your protein. And as I always say, only eat starch at night. Only have any bread, pasta, rice, root vegetables being potato, sweet potato, pumpkin at night. Don't have any starch during the day. Hormones, perimenopausal and menopausal hormones don't like it. They love it at night, not during the day. But yeah, and spread that protein over each meal. It's a tweak as well, like having protein in at your befriended breakfast, at lunch, in your snack, and in your evening meal. And just start. That's it. All right. I am going to finish up there. I didn't realize the time. All right. I have to get ready. I'm about to hit Maroochydore Beach and open up a portal. And if you know, you know what that means. All right, my love. I love you. Thank you so much for listening. If there's anyone that you feel could benefit from this, please do share. And I do have a calendar for calls open for the next few weeks at my website, www.nickstar.com, Nikstar. Thank you. Bye.